Feeling lost in your 20s? Yeah, I've been there. And these are the things I learned the hard way so you don't have to. 11 years ago, I turned 20, and I never thought looking back I'd feel so proud and disappointed in myself at the same time. There were risks that I took that shaped me, and things that I ran from that shaped me just as much. But I also wasted time, energy, money, and moments that I'll never get back. If you ask me what my 20s looked like, it probably looked something like this. Lost, disoriented, unsure of who I was or where I was, trying to figure out what it is I want to do with my life. And that's me trying not to step in dog poop. Honestly, this sums up my 20s more than I like to admit. But behind the laughs, there was someone who was quietly drowning, trying to keep up, trying to feel like I mattered, trying to look like I had it all together. But I wasn't okay, and deep down I think I knew that. I was chasing the version of success that I thought I was supposed to want, not the one that I actually needed. And that's the first thing I wish I learned earlier. You can't outrun emptiness with money. I spent years thinking the next paycheck, the next raise, the next upgrade would finally make me feel fulfilled. But every time I got more, I only felt more hollow. I didn't need more stuff. I needed peace. I needed purpose. But I was too busy chasing validation through numbers, bank balances, and things I didn't even care about. And the truth is, you can make money, but still feel completely worthless inside. That's why this lesson hit so hard. Because I wasn't broke, I was just empty. That emptiness didn't disappear overnight, and once I saw for what it was, I stopped running. I slowed down, I embraced the imperfections, and I really started to be okay with where I was and what I had. And for the first time, it felt like I was living. At the age of 25 in 2019, I bought my dream car, I went on a trip to California with my best friends, I got engaged, and in December, I bought my house. It was probably one of the best years of my life, but I had no idea that in 3 months, everything would change.
My fellow Americans, today, the World Health Organization officially announced that this is a global pandemic.
The world slowed down, but I didn't know how to sit still. And to be honest, this was the most reflective part of my life. The job that kept me distracted, gone. The constant noise I clung to, quiet. The motion I used to escape, it stopped. I had no choice but to sit in silence and finally ask myself the questions I had been avoiding. But instead, I scrolled. I stared. I waited for something to distract me. Eventually, the biggest truth hit me. The early part of my 20s was just work. All I did was grind, 80 to 90 hours a week. Late nights, no breaks, no presents. I used work to escape. And I told myself that meant I was doing something with my life. But I wasn't building anything. I was running from everything. Everything I tried was rushed. And I was constantly disappointed in myself when it didn't work out fast. I quit too early. Not because I didn't care, but because I didn't see progress right away. Slowing down didn't just show me where I was tired. It showed me where I was impatient and undisciplined. And when there's nothing left to run to, realize how much of your life was just surviving. It took me years to admit it, but that was burnout. I wasn't just tired and unmotivated, I was just done. But the more I sat with it, the more I realized it wasn't all just directly burnout. It was also tied with fear. The fear of falling behind. The fear of feeling like I'm not good enough. The fear of failing publicly. I used to think that if something didn't work out quickly, it was never meant to work out at all. But that's not failure. That's impatience dressed up as wisdom. And if I can go back and implement this in my 20s a little bit sooner, it would be that failure's not that big of a deal. If you judge a fish its ability to climb a tree, it will live its whole life believing that it's stupid. When I first heard that quote, it stuck with me. It made me realize just because you're not good at one thing doesn't mean you're not good at everything. And oddly enough, it's usually failure that leads you to that point. Because when you fail, you reflect, and then you learn. And through that process, sometimes you'll find something that lights a fire inside of you. Something that keeps you chasing, no matter how bad you are at it. And that was me with film and photography. I was overwhelmed at first with camera settings, lighting setups, what an f-stop was, and all of the fun words used in the photography world. And to be honest, I thought I would never get it. And the amount of times I've almost quit are too many to count. But something inside of me said keep going. Not because I was good, but because I cared. And over time, through the struggles and the failures, I began to understand. Not just the tools, but myself. So if there's anything to take from all of this, it's that failure isn't the end. Sometimes it's just the beginning. Sometimes it's the small things that you do in your life that can change it forever. And the last thing I wish I learned earlier in my 20s is that life's not that serious. Have fun.